Hello everybody, this is General Yanis, and today in Death Card Tactics I will be looking at the Death Card unit tier ranking list, so how the units compare to each other, which gets top marks and which should probably just stay on the shelf. So with no further ado, let's get started. So today, the 7th of September, working a bit on modifying a Contemptor, giving him a bit of tentacles and nerglifying a Contemptor I'm building and rebasing my Poxwalkers to make them a bit more fitting the rest of my army theme. And then from tomorrow on, I'll be on a week's vacation to this nice island in Greece. So really looking forward to that. So in this video, as I said, my tier list for Death Card units, not much math in this one, so let's get started. So looking at the Death Card ranking list, let's look at the top units for our codex for that we have available to us. I think the Tallyman deserves being here. He can make many of the shooty units really strong, especially the Contemptors. He gives us command points. He's really he could be part in any list, in my opinion. And then, of course, we also have the Foul Blightspawn. If he has the Revolting Stench Vats relic, he can really be game-changing. His aura, allowing Death Card to fight first within his aura, and with Death Card being so strong a melee force, he can really win games versus especially opponents that are coming for you. Then one of my personal favorites, all-time top units, is the Plagueburst Crawler. I really like how the Plagueburst Crawlers look, how they play in the game. Now with a new unit stats, they are really strong. I think also as people are tending now maybe to use more line of sight terrain, hiding units, etc. Having a mortar that can basically reach any spot on the map and deal surrounding mortal wounds with a stratagem, really one of our best units and the most durable vehicle we have for points. So really, when I see people in the forums asking what should I get next, if you don't have Plagueburst Crawlers, get some Plagueburst Crawlers. They are really strong, really good unit. Then we have the Contemptor with the Volkites, especially a mortal wound spam machine, helped out by the Tallyman, but this fits in any competitive list. They can be tough to find. Let's say they can be quite expensive to get in real life, but they are doing a lot on the tabletop. So really strong. My worst fear with this is that probably it's going to be nerfed soon, and a lot of armies can use it. Basically, just a Chaos Contemptor that other Chaos can use. Also Contemptors for the loyalist sides, let's say. Yeah, therefore, yeah, magnetize the arms. That's what I did with mine, at least. And then I put the Death Shroud here, a very strong unit. They are so potent when they come into melee. They can really, yeah, they are like mini characters destroying everything in melee. They can be a bit vulnerable. They have a 4+ involved. They are not as durable as Blightlords, but I prefer them over the Blightlords. They can do their melee job much better. And they have a quite high staying power anyway. So this would constitute my top list of units, and I think they would be fitting and improving any list out there. Continuing with the A rank, let's say these units fit also in every army and really strong. So starting here, we have the Blightlord Terminators. The Blightlord Terminators, I know, are the favorites of a lot of Death Card players. I personally don't like them as much. I think they are a bit, I don't know, they feel a bit slow, they feel a bit blunt on the battlefield. They don't do so much damage, but their staying power is unquestionably the best in our codex. We can really hold objectives with them. I personally prefer to be a bit more aggressive, so that's why I would like Death Shroud better. But I can, yeah, the staying power is really strong for these guys. one of the best units in the game at the moment. Probably a lot of you guys, I think, would put them in the S plus tier, the super tier here. I put them down to an A personally. For my own armies, I tend to not use them so much. I would put them in a B rank, but I can see on the math that they are really belonging up in the top. And then we have our small minions following us, the Poxwalkers. Really a strong unit. Could also be in the top tier with the stratagems to give mortal wounds. They can come back. They are a cheap screen. They have objective secure. The only problem with these guys is that they can't do the normal infantry actions, but they can do spread the sickness, which I kind of like. And yeah, they have a very big utility, and especially you can also use them as a main force, let's say in a Terminus Est list. So really good use, and especially the Blightlord Terminators together with Poxwalker combo seems to be a way to go for competitive lists. So way up there are the Poxwalkers in this edition. And then I would put the Lord of Contagion here in this rank. I think the Lord of Contagion is really strong in melee. He can be quite configurable. He's not a named character. His melee damage is very strong, and he spreads contagions better than the other troops. So I think the other characters. So I think Lord of Contagion definitely one of the best character options. Malignant Plaguecaster, as our codex is right now, you can't really have lists without him. And I think if in smaller games, if you make him a wretched Plaguecaster and you upgrade him, he can really dominate and really be oppressive in this list. So I think also he's really a good character. Then we also have the Demon Prince, with or without wings, but with the sword definitely. He can also be quite configurable. He can fly. He can add with the wings. He can fly. He can add some mobility as a character, and he's really strong in melee. So I think also he deserves a top spot here. And then I would also add the Furtive Blow Drone with the mower, really a strong marine killer again, adding some nice mobility to the Death Guard army. Moving on to the, let's say, B rank, so still good characters for all these guys, but not as the top here. I unfortunately I have to put the Plague Marines down here. I'm really fond of Plague Marines. I like how they are really configurable. You can take a lot of heavy weapons, but their lack of an invul save make them right now. If you're facing a shooty opponent, their durability is basically not there. They will be dying to shooting. There are ways to get them up the battlefield and they can do some damage, but yeah, unfortunately they can't be higher. Maybe somebody would argue to put them even lower and just use the Blightlord, Death Shroud, and Poxwalker combos. I would also put Typhus here. Typhus in small games can be really great. Like a Lord of Contagion, he's basically a plague caster and a Lord of Contagion. The only reason for getting him here is as a named character. He's not as configurable. He can take relics. He can choose the warlord traits, etc. So his usability is a bit lower than the Lord of Contagion and the plague caster. Then I would also put the Lord of Virulence here. I think Lord of Virulence again, probably a good character for especially smaller games, combining shooting and melee damage output. The reason I think I put him down here and not in this group is his auras are a bit lackluster. I think the Lord of Contagion has better abilities. And then the Terrax Drill, I think there's a Forge World that we can use. I think that's a strong unit. It's a bit big and it can be difficult to deep strike, but if you can deep strike them, especially with the Plague Marines, that could be an interesting build. Then I'll put the normal, let's say, blow drones and the Mephitic Blighthauler. The Mephitic Blighthauler could have a higher rank. I think now with 140 points, it's a bit too expensive to reach a high rank, but it's a good unit. It's a good anti-vehicle unit, and the blow drone also adds some nice mobility. Again, for smaller games, I like playing some blow drones with some speeders. They can fly around. They can do independent action. They can give you board presence. They are quite useful. I would also put Mortarion in this tier. I think he's a very big distraction for 490 points. I like taking him. It makes the strategy a bit easy. You force the opponent to take care of Mortarion when you are while you are taking control of the board and making the other units like the Plague Scrollers and the Contemptors count. I think it's quite good. Maybe not a top tier for competitive play, but still it has some good rules at the moment. I will also put the Greater Blightlord here. Greater Blightlord adding even higher mobility than the Bloatrons in the same spot. And then the Chaos Spawn, they are also good. I think also it's really nice that we have it's basically the cheapest way we could hold an objective, just 23 points, one Chaos Spawn can just sit on the backfield. A bigger unit could be a threat in melee. They need to be upgraded to be more durable with a stratagem, but the Chaos Spawn they are good when they come into melee and just for holding some objectives. I also see that a lot of times the opponent tend to target them, so that's more shots not going into some more expensive expensive troops. So that's quite good as well. Now starting to reach some of the mediocre ranks. Let's say here the Defiler. I would put in a C rank. The Defiler is lacking the disgusting resilience. It could be a special build, let's say for melee. But yeah, the Defiler is not as strong as the other demon engines. I think he belongs in a category below the top, let's say. The Chaos Rhino, not yeah, especially now that Marines maybe are not in the top. The Rhino is not as usable and it's not so good at protecting the Marines or delivering them as a Terrax drill. The Plague Surgeon then and the Biologus Putrefier. The Biologus Putrefier, you could do some interesting builds with the Terrax drill, the Biologus and Plague Marines for the grenade spam, etc. But again, he follows a bit that the Plague Marines are out of fashion and his utility is best with Plague Marines for the mortal wounds in close combat and the strong grenades. The Surgeon has an aura. He can save a bit, especially he can prolong the durability of our Terminators, but again, it's quite costly for what he does. He probably earns his points back in a big game, but yeah, you could put better and more aggressive or more damage output for those points on the board. Then the Miasmic Malignifier, the building, I kind of like that one. I enjoyed building it. I enjoyed painting it. I used it in one battle. I protected my my big blob of Plague Marines with Cloud of Flies. It absorbed a lot of enemy fire. I think it's really a good unit, but the problem is, and yeah, spreading the contagions ahead of the field. But the problem is, can you use it? Can you place it? And in competitive play, there will probably be not much space in the terrain to use it. But I kind of enjoy playing it. But it's not like it's more for games at home rather than competitive play. And then the normal Chaos Lord or the Chaos Lord in Terminator armor, I would put in this mediocre tier here. They don't have it's the cheapest way to get a reroll. That's okay, but in himself he doesn't do super much on the tabletop compared to a Lord of Contagion or some of the other character lords. Now moving even further down in the depths of Death Card, let's say, here the Noxious Blightbringer, unfortunately, very cool model, really one of my favorites from the previous edition, really enjoyed playing him back then, but now he's quite lackluster. His auras, he's not super strong, but and yeah, he doesn't have the relic to give invul saves to the Plague Marines anymore, so he's coming here towards the bottom, where I also would put the Cultists. The Cultists also a cheap unit, but they suffer. They don't have contagion. They don't have objective secure. Their only benefit is that you can, for 50 points, you can get a small unit to hold an objective that also can do the normal infantry actions. Chaos Predators, nothing to write home about. They no disgusting resilience. no invul saves, not so survivable in today's battlefield. And then the Hellbrute, cool looking model, core unit, could be stronger, but again, no invul saves. It's basically a glass cannon, and yeah, in my last game where I used it, it just was killed on turn 1. Didn't get to use him. That's why I don't normally use him. But I was building a list with units I don't typically use. Not so good. And then we have the possessed in the elite slot. I think they could be potentially moving up a bit. They are not as bad maybe as I put them here. The problem is that they don't do anything better than our other units can do, and they are fighting in the elite slot with death shrouds and Blightlord Terminators, which they are not as good. But you could argue you could put them a bit higher here. And then reaching to the final rank, the Land Raider, I think it's way too expensive for what it does, and maybe you could argue I could move some a bit around here, but that's more or less how I see the Death Guard tier ranking list. So this concludes my ranking of the units. What do you think about this? Anything you would strongly disagree with? Of course, there is. This is a bit qualitative and yeah, based also on personal preference. But let me know what you think and what your favorite units are. I would always, if I had to pick one unit, I'll probably pick the Plagueburst Crawler and a Tallyman, but that's already 2 units. All right, so this concludes the video. What do you think about this tier list? Let me know in the comments. If you want a detailed review of all these units, basically I've pretty much done a video for every unit and a lot of videos comparing, for example, the fast attack units. You can find in the description below. You can see links to these reviews in my channel. So if you like this video, please press like, subscribe to my channel where I will be bringing you Death Guard and other Warhammer tactics. And if you want to further support my efforts, please visit my Patreon page. And this concludes the video. Stay safe out there, and bye-bye.